Okay, here we are. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Estella.
Hi, good morning, Stacy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good to see you.
Good to see you
Let,
too.
let's see if I can see the live. Oh, I see us on YouTube. That's good
Yeah.
news. Okay, well, here we are. So now I can see my table quite well. I'm going to get rid of
Yes.
this distraction. Okay. And then I have these distractions. Okay. Okay. Well, we're here and we're ready, right?
We're ready.
I think we should get started even though I don't see anybody on the
I saw
on.
there's one watching live. Maybe that's you, but that's
Oh,
okay.
it could be me. Anyways, so today we're going to talk about all this exciting stuff on the table. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what I have here. I am making something. I'll explain it to you in more detail in a minute, but I'm making something all in one color. So when I show you what I'm going to do it all in black. I have other examples down here that also are made with other colors, but let's start here with what I have on the table so I can put it aside. So I have my very large tip Sharpie bullet point marker because it has this broad tip to it. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes really nice marks. So I've included that in my mix. So I've taken anything that's black that I have that makes marks is what I've included here. I have this Caran d'Ache water soluble Neo 2 with me. I have this, what do they call these? Charcoal
China
pencil?
marker. It's a wax.
China marker.
Yeah, wax
Yeah.
Marker.
So I have that. I have another finer tip Sharpie. I have this one for all acrylic paint marker, which is by the company Molotow. I have just a pencil. And then I have just a uniball, just mark making stuff. And then as things, whether I use them all or not, this is what I have. So I have a bunch of different paint brushes. I have this toothbrush. I have some skewers. These are bamboo skewers. This inexpensive, I think they call these cheap chip brushes. I have some sponges. I have this toilet paper tube that I cut up.
Oh, neat.
I cut it
Did
up
you
and
make it? You rolled it up smaller, huh?
Yeah, and I put an elastic around it.
Okay.
To use just as a mark making tool. You can see I've used it already. Cheat. I have this scraper. This actually happens to be an old Pampered Chef scraper that comes with the stoneware if you ever had their
cool.
stoneware.
No.
So that's what this is. So it's just another scraper. It's kind of like a gift card or a credit card.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Is it made from silicone?
I think it's a hard form of nylon or silicone. It's it does okay with heat. So
okay.
I think that's what it is anyway. And then I have Punchella. And then I had this piece of cardboard which I peeled. You can see. I peeled
that's
off.
Be a great texture.
Right. So I just peeled off. I've seen people wet these and peel it off. It probably works better, but I just peeled it off. Sometimes this is good mindless work to have.
Right.
So I'm gonna put that over here.
I have just say hello real quick to Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us. Hi,
Kathy. How are you? Good to see you, Kathy. And then I have this netting. This is like that vegetable. I don't know. Something came in it.
Netting. Oh yeah, those are some cool things to keep.
Right. I keep these, and sometimes I just use them scrunched up too. So that's a fun thing. Then I have this. Is a tube that covered a paintbrush that I got, and I use it for stamping circles. This is another, this had something in it, and I liked this, and I stamp with this. So this is just a tube that I found. Recycling, this is recycling stuff that you really have no explanation for, but it works. Then I took some ink, like this. Sailor Rowney, I think this is acrylic ink.
Okay.
Yep. And I put it in this fine liner. I regret this, by the way, and I'll tell you why a little bit later.
Okay.
I put it in this fine liner dispenser, I guess I would call this. It's a fine tip applicator. Right. I regret it because it has a little pin that you have to get back into the hole. And let me tell you,
Yes.
That's a
I know what you're
struggle
talking
sometimes.
about. Yes.
And then I brought my golden bone black. So any black paint will
Mm-hmm.
work. This is a little bit, it's like a flow acrylic. I
Okay.
think it is fluid
A
acrylic.
fluid acrylic, yeah.
So those are what I have. But I'm going to show you now what I did. Oh, and I have this sort of spatula. This is
Oh, yes.
silicone.
I love mine. I have one like that too.
Yeah, I have a bigger one too, but I didn't want to bring that today. So the things I'm going to show us now are going to make a lot of noise for those of you that don't like crinkly sounds. But here goes. I've pre-made some papers here. So
Mm-hmm.
what we're going to talk about today is just random mark making.
Mm-hmm.
And why we're going to talk about this is because you guys are going to have to use your imagination for this. I wanted to talk a little bit about emotions and emotions getting stuck in our bodies in weird ways, right? This happens. Our emotions, our muscles hold memory. And as such, a lot of times you'll find those emotions are actually stuck in your muscles. So there's examples of people that go and get massages, right? And they leave massages crying, not because they're hurt, but because it's
Yes.
released this whole
Yes.
host of emotion. And there's other forms of body work. They do rolfing, and there's something called the Rosen method. My particular massage therapist actually does it. And it's where they hold the body position for a long enough time to allow the muscle to release. And that's another one of those where emotions can just come to the surface for no explained reason. And that's because your old emotions are held in your
In your
muscles.
muscles.
So whether you know that or not. So this exercise is an art journaling exercise, not in an art journal, clearly. We're going to do that in a few minutes, but we're going to make this on paper. And what the goal here is to just make a mess. Like we're just making a mess. And I'll show you, I'm going to demonstrate, but I wanted to have papers already made so you know. Now, these are great for your journals afterwards. You don't have to throw these away. But if I were not just sitting in my office, I would get a lot of papers. So you know how the paper, you can buy paper on spools. I
Yes.
know a lot of time for kids, like the
Mm-hmm.
kids' paper. So I like this whole big, like a picnic table, say you were working
Yes.
outside, you could spread it on a picnic table and do a giant piece. That's what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
So this paper came from, packing. That's what this
Yes.
paper is. But you could even take paper like this and just tape it all together, just make it as big as you possibly could and do it outside on your picnic table. There's no reason why you couldn't. So here I'm focusing on one color for each piece of paper. So this one was a black one that I did on white paper. And then I took my hot pinks and I did my hot pinks on this kind of craft paper.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of like the hot pinks because I think it would be a good contrast in my journal. So when I'm doing this, I have another one I'm going to show you. This
I'm
is
going to
another
just
one.
say real quick hello to Kathy. Sorry, I already said hi to Kathy, but April and Laura. So good morning.
Hi,
Hello, ladies.
hi,
I say good
ladies.
morning because it's morning for me, but it's afternoon for our East Coast fam.
That's okay. We're all together at the same time, so that's what matters, right?
Right.
So again, this is another one that I did on
Ooh,
craft paper with black. So
those kind of
when
look
we're
like
going to do this,
roses. Mm-hmm.
I just randomly am making marks, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you this. Use your fingers if you want as tools.
Mm-hmm.
Use both hands. I mean, don't just use one hand. This is a release. And you can play music, some music you like maybe. We're not going to do that today because, we don't want to get in trouble with any sounds, that
Right.
are copyrighted. But you could play, it occurred to me that drumming music would be awesome for
Ooh,
this. Some kind
yes.
of really deep bass drumming kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go to town. You don't think about it. You're not judging what you're doing. As far as you're concerned, you're making a mess. So this is another one. This one's a really big one that I had. And this one I did in white. And as you can see, I got a little bit of pink in there. Oops, we don't need that. I got a little bit of pink in there. But so I did this just with all white.
Oh, wow. That does
So
look like it would be very cathartic. I'm trying to make
Cathartic,
sure it's
yeah.
cathartic. Yeah, there you go.
So this is what we're doing today. And that is because it is cathartic, right? So if
Yes.
you're by yourself, you're going to have a much bigger piece of paper than this. So I usually start out, maybe I start out scribbling. Now, it would be great to have this perfectly flat, but this was packing paper. It's not. So I just kind of start out scribbling. I might switch hands,
Yes.
try to do something like that. And I might do this for a few minutes. Again, if you had a picnic table, this would be beautiful,
Yes.
So then, let's take this. Maybe just, there's no rhyme or reason here. We're just making a mess. I'm going to try to shove my stuff as far over as I can.
So I noticed that you started with a smaller line and it looks like you're going to a larger lines. Is that on purpose?
Well, so some of what I start with, I try to start with things that are maybe permanent. So in other words, I have this crayon, which is a Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2. This is water soluble. So if I started with that and I did something, say with this sponge, so I'm going to just show you, it's going to bleed.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
I don't hate that. I love that. But sometimes you just want to get stuff on the paper,
Right. And also
So
that would
that's
weaken the paper a little bit there. So you probably
the
want to get all
wet.
your dry stuff down and then do the wet later.
Right. So I love this big marker. So I have my table's covered under here, but I love this because I love this kind of mark it makes.
Yes. That's so cool, like a big old rectangle.
So you can do things like that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, maybe you want to make a mark with it on there, So again, this is just random.
Right.
I don't really put a lot of effort or thought into what I'm doing. Here's another Sharpie. This is my finer toothed Sharpie or my finer tipped Sharpie. Now I'm going to go back in. Maybe I feel like, who knows, doing what. But I'm going to go back in and, add more. So as you see fit, you're just trying to fill your paper in front of you and end up with something similar to what I got. Oh, this is my acrylic paint marker. So,
it's a finer line. Yeah.
Right.
And the whole point of this is to release your emotions as you're drawing, and
you're really, if you guys weren't here, I would just be like relaxing my hands and my arms and just going for big movement. The bigger the movement you can make with your arm, the better. Because the more released you're going to get. So I'm going to go to paint now, just so this doesn't drag on forever. So actually, you know what? I'm going to see if I have a top that I can use here for my paint. Oops. So I'm just going to pour my paint in a lid. So I have
smart.
it. So I have this. I said I made this. This is a toilet paper tube I just cut and I rolled it tight and I put an elastic around it. So
that. Makes a great flower or splotch.
Right? So you might, see what you can get with that.
Like turn it into a brush.
Exactly. Then, I might say, well, I have this scraper, Pampered Chef, for any of you that are Pampered Chef fans. I might do something like this. And then
you could also use a credit card or a key card or something like that from a hotel.
I have a credit card too here. Or you could take your scraper and scrape. No, this one's not going to work that well.
Punchinella. It's so it's such a unique thing, and it's a great way to recycle because punchinella comes from when they punch out the sequins. And this is what's left over.
So this is just an old stencil. It does. It's a great stencil. This is just an old makeup sponge. And I just, might do something like that. I'm just looking to get texture on my page. I might get really, really crazy and do my fingers.
Let's finger paint too.
Right. And I have to tell you, this is the best. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go get paint with chemical and go crazy with your fingers.
Right.
But at the same time, they have liquid glove you can use, or you can just put on a pair of gloves. Yeah. But I love to just sometimes use it. That's really right. You're getting in there.
Right. Oh my gosh.
So I might, if I were outside and I had the whole table covered, I might do my handprints. I mean, I might get really crazy with that. So this is netting that I got, from a vegetable bag. So I might do a little of that.
When I got from my little turkey breast that I had last Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's a good one too. I've done that. I know exactly what netting. So then I have all these brushes. I have, this is a skewer. I just wanted to give you a quick demo as to what we were going to do. I might take a wide brush and, see what we could get with that. Then don't be afraid to use your handwriting, right? I'm the number one person to say I can't stand my handwriting. Write big and loose. And you could even do it with your non-dominant hand. But I mean, write big, write loose, see what you get. You could go around things with writing. You could write nonsense words or big words.
Right. Thank you for joining us, Donna. Hi.
Hi, Donna. Toothbrush.
Ooh. Right.
There's not really a lot of paint in here. That's the problem. You could also do paint splatters with toothbrushes, which I like, where you dip it in the water and you, So since I have water here, Let's try it.
Oh, yes. Those are cool.
So then you get some paint splatters. And then, I don't know, you might, just make marks. I mean, maybe you want to make some circles. Maybe if you're really angry, maybe you just want to scribble.
Yes, I was just thinking the different types of emotion, like what kind of marks would come out of that. If you're feeling melancholy, maybe it would be more of a meandering line.
Right. Exactly. So
whereas when you're feeling angry, you could, like you said, scribble or like pound it with your hand.
Right.
Make a big old handprint.
You could do like, hey, how about fist stamping?
Ooh, all right. Oh, yes.
How cool is that?
Very cool.
So, I mean, these kinds of marks can be made with so many things, right? I have this big brush. This is a chip brush.
So it looks like a good stencil brush too. It's good for pouncing.
This, yes. Mm-hmm. And can you see the pounce?
Yes, I saw. Well, as the paint lessens, it's harder to see from this angle. But yes, right. I'm sure the visual when it's closer to you is much better.
Yes, and I think when if you had the broad view on YouTube, you'd probably see it better too. Mm. So, anyways, this is what I do. So when I feel finished, then I just stop. And if I want to keep going, I keep going. Mm-hmm. So now I want to talk about what are you going to do with these. This is great material for your journal. So I put my journal away for some reason. So I made all those other ones I showed you in the beginning because I figured I would just open to a page. My journal has less and less empty pages in it these days. Let's do this one.
That's a good thing.
Right. I'm almost finished with this one. And actually, in the future, I'm going to just show you what I did. Because did I talk about this yet? I ripped this piece out of my journal, and we're going to remake this as a play in my journal. I'm going to remake this page.
Nice.
So that's a future video.
Okay.
So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to just take my glue. So I have my perfect paper adhesive from ArtQuest. I found this hard to get lately. But gel medium would work just as nice.
Yes, I often use my soft gel gloss medium.
Yep.
Or matte medium.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to put, because I know I want to cover this page. I'm just going to put a bunch of glue on here.
Stacy, do you mind pushing your journal up just a little bit so we can see? Yeah, there we go.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
wonder if you're not getting the access to that glue because of temperatures. I've heard some manufacturers won't ship the glue during colder temperatures because it messes with the
glue.
The glue, yeah, like it wouldn't be usable.
Huh, that's interesting. That's possible.
Yeah, so especially in the colder climates.
That's very possible. So, well, I would use, like I said, I use either or. This has always been my go-to, but I've recently started using matte medium also, and been equally as happy with it. So, you know, whatever. So I'm just taking the ones that I've already made, and I'm just ripping out spots. So you can, you know, look for specific things. You could just tear things out. You could
I can see how even the process of ripping can be very satisfying when you're feeling angry.
Right. So I usually make these papers up and I keep them and then decide what I'm going to do with them later. Now, I can really fuss with this crinkle or not worry about it. And most of the time, I like the texture, so I don't worry about it.
Right.
So let's put more down. So I'm just going to continue ripping. Anybody have any questions out there or thoughts? Do you think you'd do this? Do you think you'd like it?
Yeah, sure. Weigh in on the comments. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, let us know. Is this just too messy for you? Would you not enjoy it? Or would you enjoy it? I liked doing this because I like to have multiple colors.
Oh, yes. That adds to the dimension of your journal page.
Yep, it does for sure. So, anyways, this will become, I mean, this by itself right here could just be the journal page. You know, you could fill the whole journal page with this and say, remember when I did this? Remember how angry I was? Remember how happy I was?
Yes. Kathy says, loving this. And Laura says, I love messy.
Yeah,
April has a question. She says, how does this relate to our emotions? Missed the beginning. I would definitely enjoy this activity. I love ripping up stuff.
So, April, I talked about quickly about covering a table with some of this paper. Like the bigger you can make this, the better. So like the larger your sheets of paper, the better. And if you only have small sheets, you could tape a bunch together. But it's about releasing and using your larger muscles. That's what the activity is, right? So you guys can't really see me, but I'm using my whole arm and my whole hand when I'm making these motions. And there's a release in doing movement like that, right? We talked about how people can go have massages or have body work done like cranial sacral, Rosen, and Rolfing, that kind of thing. And it releases emotions that are really stuck in our body. And many of us struggle with that stuck in our body emotion, whether we know it or not.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I've gone for a massage and I just end up weeping. And it was like, oh, what a relief, though.
Right. So, and that's the point. Yeah. So it is a relief. So by doing big art and big things, right, and using your hands, getting really tactile, it's kind of like digging in the dirt if you're a gardener.
Right.
Really get in there and really, you know, exaggerate your movements and use both sides, both hands, dominant, non-dominant hands. That really helps us release emotions. And a lot of times in our journals, you know, a lot of people might think, oh, well, what's this going to really do for me? Like, how is this going to really solve any problems? But sometimes you don't have to know how it's healing or why it's healing. It just really does. I mean, that's what I found out with the women that I worked with in the grief and loss group. You know, they were healing in spite of not understanding what their emotions might have been. So, it was a group process. So you healed together. Yeah. But
Right. April has another question. She said, do you pick specific words related to how we are feeling?
so you could, April, that's a really interesting question, right? You so could do that. But you don't have to. You just don't have to. You could just say, like, you know what, today I feel like making one of those paintings, and I might not know why I feel like it. It just might feel like a good day to do it. So, but you could easily write a letter to yourself. You know how we talk about this? Write a letter to yourself underneath this process, and say it was a sad or a feeling, or more. I hate to say things are negative feeling or bad feelings, because really they're not. It's all part of your process, and you should really, in my mind, honor that. But you could write yourself a letter, say you were sad or feeling bad or whatever, and you could easily cover it up with papers like this. No one would know but you what's underneath there.
Right.
But it's a release, and it's a way to remake those emotions or those feelings, or something that's going on in your life. It's a way to make it prettier, different, better. Sometimes that's all you need.
That's cool. So Donna says it's outside of my box, but definitely good to try. So yes, Donna. Time to get messy, right?
Making a mess is one of those things. It's sometimes for people and sometimes not. And we're okay with that.
Yes.
We meet you where you're at. That's the line here, right? We meet you right where you are. Oops.
April says that's beautiful, very interactive. Yes.
So doing things like that in your journal, to me, this is my purpose anyway. So again, I want to get a lot of glue on here so I can get things to stay down. But if they don't, I wanted to get this little sunburst or flower or whatever this was here. But this
Did you use the toilet paper roll to get that one?
Yeah, and I loved it when it came out. I was like, I love that. But I didn't want all this blank paper, so I'm ripping it off.
Laura says, feeling like a child again, so we'll probably be finger painting soon. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. There are times when I'm using my gelatin plate, and I'll move the paint around with my fingers just to get my hands in it.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. But yeah, it's important to use the different parts of our bodies, just besides our brains, to process emotions. I know when I read the Body Keeps the Score, it was really interesting to learn. Well, I listened to it on Audible, but to learn about all the different ways that that we can process trapped emotions, through art, through song, singing,
dancing,
theater, dancing. So, and these are all the things, unfortunately, that are being moved out of the school systems.
Yes.
So it's great to do this too, besides for yourself with your children.
Yep. Teaching our children to do this stuff is very beneficial. Believe it or not.
Indeed.
So I just take and rip up these things. This is it. This is what I do with these. Now, this paper, this is great paper for your stash. I mean, I could think you can make envelopes with, this is a little thin maybe, but you could, make envelopes like this. You could make, all kinds of, you could use it on tags and cards. I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons, but you can see it starts to really, I'm collaging here, but I mean, it starts to, I like the look of this. So, I'm trying not to give you guys too much noise, but I don't think that's working out so well. So now in this one, I've kept it all the craft paper, but you don't have to. I mean, I could easily use that white paper that I made.
You know what's so amazing is that we get all kinds of fascinating materials that are used for packing, besides the paper and the plastic bubbles, the bubble wrap itself. I even got one where when you pull the paper apart, it looks sort of like a honeycomb.
Oh, yes. I've
Makes
had
some
that.
great textures too.
I love that one. And that does make great textures. Now, you could also do more on top of this. Once you get this done and dry, right, you could
Hmm.
easily take, mark making tools or something like your Punchella and,
Hmm.
you know, add more
Stencils,
stencils.
sprays,
Yes. Yes.
lots of different ways to bring more to it.
So exactly what we would finish doing here. I mean, who knows? When are you done? Do you know? Do you have a
No,
rule?
I saw like a poll in another group, and that was one of the comments that people made about their art is, how do I know when I'm done, or
Yeah,
when do I walk away? I mean, in something like this, when you're using it to express your emotions, I think that it's I would say until you feel like you've
you're done.
released it. Yes, exactly.
Right. Because sometimes I think you could go on, you know, for an hour or more and not be done. It just depends.
Yeah,
We all have our way. And the
right.
mind sometimes knows more than we consciously know.
Yes, I do agree. I do
So,
agree. Laura's saying, yes, love all the expressions.
right? And
Yeah.
again, we don't have to know the why, and it still will work. It still will
Hmm.
heal. Okay, so I just made a big faux pas and got glue down my book.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just going to take a piece of paper towel and wet it, and I'm going to wipe my glue off.
Yes, because we do not want all the pages glued together.
No, and if I were smart, I would have put a paper underneath there, right? But sometimes in the heat of making,
Yes.
we don't do anything. We don't do it.
Oh, that's a great idea. Laura is saying that if you have time constraints, if let me show her comment. If you've got time constraints, set a timer and then go back as many times as needed. Yeah, that's a great idea too.
Right? That is a really good idea. So now I put this piece in the middle of my journal here. So it's overlaying. So sometimes what I do, even though I open the other side and kind of just bend it and make sure that it's not going to prevent my book from opening or closing.
Right. And that book, that particular journal that you're using, the Dilutions journal, has several signatures that are sewn together. And so,
Right.
yeah, it would be easy for the glue to seep in between the signatures and then make it difficult to open the book, close the book.
Exactly.
But that's also what makes it great for art journaling, because you have space for it to move and
To
expand.
move. That's why I love it. I
Yeah, it
love
also
this.
has really sturdy paper.
Yeah. This is really one of my favorites, although sometimes I really want a watercolor journal. I like that paper too.
Yes, yes, yes. It's also a very strong paper. Oh, by the way, if you're liking this video, please like and share. Um, we love to spread the word about the Art Journal Life, the group, and also the YouTube channel. So you can join us
Yes.
online on Facebook at the Art Journal. I think it's Art Journal Community, right?
Right. Art Journal Community on Facebook now.
Yes.
So it's
Please.
groups
Yeah.
/ Art Journal Community.
Yes.
And I would love to have you guys there.
Yes. And share with your friends.
Right? So, okay, I've got a little bit more in here, but I'm feeling like I'm close here.
Yeah.
So this
I
is
love
what
the
I
way
would
it's
do.
developing.
Thank you. And if you do something and you don't like it, remember you can add. You can add a whole bunch of things. Ooh, I forgot to show you. So I have this stamp This is a plastic, you know what, like drink tablets of some sort came in this. So, but I loved this. Let's see if I have any ink
Is your
in
paint
here.
wet still? You need to put a little more? Oh, yeah.
It's wet. And you can come back in and add more to kind of, what am I looking for? Ground it, kind of
Mm.
make it cohesive. So, you could come in and do more stenciling. I might come in here with some white, at some point. I would definitely come in here and do some pen work or some pencil work.
Mm-hmm.
So, now I look at these are just little pieces in here that we can do, but sometimes I don't worry about that. Sometimes I might come
Mm.
in here with some gesso and
Yeah, I
kind
was
of
going to say some
fill
gesso,
those
some
in.
sprays.
Yep.
Yes.
And fill the edges in some way, especially here. Um, Honestly, you could do even some washi tape,
Oh,
you know.
yes. Mm-hmm. April,
So,
thank you for the reminder that the Art Journal community group is also linked in the About tab here on the Art Journal Life
ooh,
YouTube channel. So thank you for that reminder.
that's a good one. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for coming today.
Yes.
And
Yes.
thank you, Estella, for being my
Oh,
co host.
it's my pleasure. It's fun to watch and to help you along because it is when you're in the moment, like what you're doing, stopping to look at the comments and
It's hard, right?
responding to them. Yeah, it's a little more challenging. Takes you off your concentration.
Well, sometimes you can stop and look. But
Yeah.
I think, even though I want to add a little more in there, ooh, I found this. This is an interesting piece.
Oh, thank you so much, April. She says you guys make an amazing dynamic duo. Aw, love
Thank
you
you.
too, April. What do we do? The little heart, the heart hand.
The heart hand and
Yes.
the dirty hand.
Yep.
So, again, I think, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do a little something more in there? I feel like I need to find a little bit of a piece for in there.
So we would love to see what y'all create. Be sure to share your photos in the Art Journal community group for this
Yes,
project.
please.
I think it would be amazing for us all to share. I'm definitely inspired. I have some paper that I've stashed away just yesterday.
No longer.
No more. I'm going to pull it out and do some big marks. I've been playing a lot with my gel plate, which I love because it's
Which I love, yeah.
so unpredictable. But I do like to do this more tactile and get more of my body involved in art.
I think
It's fun.
I think that the body piece is the piece that we often forget about,
Yeah.
or but that's why
Mhm.
artists, when they make big pieces that, hang on their wall or they lay on the ground or whatever, that
Yeah.
big movement is so important.
Yes. I could
And
see that standing up would also be an important part of doing this as well. I
well,
mean, that could help.
that's a really good point. That's why I said a picnic table, right? Because you could be
Hmm.
standing up and just really moving around the table, but with, crazy arms, letting your hands go, letting your fingers go, getting really in there and creating with whatever you got. So if this were dry, I would probably come back in here and touch up with some gesso. I would definitely do something on these edges, but it's not dry yet, so I'm a little reluctant to,
Mm. Thank you,
add too much.
Kathy.
My
She says
pages
you
are
ladies
pretty
make a
wet.
great team.
Hi, Kathy. I hope you're doing good. I wanted to send you an email and I forgot. Um, so that's how I do what I do. What do you guys think about my piece here?
Looks good.
I think a little more, like I said, I would add a little white here and there.
Yeah.
It's very wet. My pages are very flimsy and wet right now, so
Mhm.
I don't think I could do too much, but sometimes just adding, you know,
A little white here and there.
us art journalers with our white pens. Is that a thing? It's my favorite pen in the whole world. Oh,
Really, the
look.
white or that particular? Oh, look at the splatters. That's cool.
So just ways to make it a little more cohesive. I'd like to get over here if it would do it.
But some of the point two of the journal is to release and to record your emotions too. So it's not about perfection, right? With our art
At all. It is not. It is definitely not about perfection. To me, anyway. I mean,
yeah.
if you're worried about people seeing your journal, of course, that puts a different spin on it. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, just this idea of I made these papers when, you could write little notes. You could take the empty spaces and just write small little reminders to yourself. It doesn't have to be anything like if anybody saw, they'd go, oh.
Right.
But it could just be some little reminder. Hey, I made this in July when, something happened, or I made this, here in April, right before Easter. Maybe that would be enough of a reminder for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You could also put like you've talked before about doing tuck spots or putting little mini envelopes
I
somewhere on it.
love, I love that, right? I
Mm-hmm.
love to do envelopes and tuck spots. And I love to even extend my pages, like to,
Mm.
use a journaling card, say. So you use a card, write on it, and then you tape it in. I usually do it with washi tape, but you can do it with packing tape. I've seen people do it. A page like
Mm-hmm.
this might be cool to have, that brown paper kind of packing tape that you could actually do more journaling
Ooh.
on.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, it could be very, very cool. So I think I would leave it like this. And I don't know. I kind of am feeling the love. Like I would want some black gesso maybe around
Mm.
these empty spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So I might do something like that. Of course, I don't have it handy to show you, but just kind of come in here with my fingers and do a little black gesso in those spots, and then write with a white pen over top of it. A date or whatever this page means to me. So, and I love the splatters. Do you guys love the splatters?
Yes.
I really love that.
Laura
So,
says that she looks back at her journals often.
I love to look back, Laura. Do you love it? It makes me feel so good when I look at what I've done.
Mm.
Even the things I don't like.
Mm.
I'm going to talk about the things we don't like in a future episode too.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do if we don't
Ah,
like something?
yeah.
So I wrote some notes, and the one thing I forgot to say is, before you start this mess making process, take a few deep breaths, kind of ground yourself in the moment and say, okay, whatever my soul needs me to know is going to come out of my fingertips today. That's the
Mm.
kind of thing I do. I kind of, whatever I need is going to show up here. So, and then I maybe get to work and make those, again, music. I picture this
Mm.
drumming, that really deep drumming kind of music, but it could be anything that moves you, you
Yeah.
know.
And there's a lot of
Um,
videos on YouTube that have, great ambient sound, and
yes,
Spotify too.
yes, absolutely. So it could be, something fluid and, you know, uh, relaxing, or it could be, like I said, that drumming, kind of, I need to get this out of me. What kind of
Mm-hmm.
movements would you make with different music? Experiment with that. I
Oh,
mean, that's a great
yeah.
experiment, So are you going to be more likely to splash? And if you had a bigger space than I had today, you could get splashy. I mean, I love the look of a splash on our page. I'm thinking about the fine liner that I didn't use here, this India ink. Well, this is acrylic ink. So this gets very splashy.
Laura says, I hear a brown paper bag calling my name. Oh, yes.
Yep. So, there you go. So this is why I said I didn't love this mechanism right here, because you have to
Mm,
try to fiddle with and I'm, you know,
yes, it is. I have to have my glasses on for that.
well, I have my glasses on and it's not helping. And my doctor says I'm corrected as much as I can get corrected, and I complain about it all the time.
Oh,
There you
there you
go.
go. You got it.
I did it. But anyway, so this is just a bottle of fine liner applicator. You can get them at the art stores. I don't know if Michael's has them, or places
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I've seen
But
them at the art supply store that I go to. They also have things. They have an online shopping experience as well, and you know, you can get it
right.
probably even. I think I've seen those on Amazon as well.
Oh, I might have gotten that from Amazon. So there was a lot of ink there, so I just absorbed this, and then I'm going to take it and spread it.
So one of the things normally you would have your affiliate links too down in the description. So maybe that's something you can add later.
Yes, I I meant to put that in there, but I will put the link. I will put the link to the website affiliate link there, so anybody can find the things I use there. That way, they'll all be in one place for you. So for sure. Okay, ladies. I hope you'll all try this. I hope you'll all share, and I hope you'll all let us know what you thought.
Yes, and don't forget to like the video if you haven't
Like the
already.
video.
Yes, it does
Love
help.
us.
It does help for the channel to spread the love, so to speak.
Spread the love.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this and saying there is a lot of space around here. I'm hoping I can figure out how to get the camera a little closer maybe next time for us.
Yeah. It looks good though. We get a good view of everything, so
That's
we
good.
can see your tools and things that you're using.
That's okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to let this dry, and then I probably would add more to it, but this is a great start, and I hope that you'll all try it. I want to thank you, Estella, for coming today and joining me.
My pleasure.
And in case you guys don't know, Estella does have her own, I don't know, website space. It's
Yes.
called Planet Creative Studios. I
Correct.
think you can find her on Facebook for sure, but what are
Yes.
your anything else?
So yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I do have a
Okay.
website, planetcreativestudios.com, and I do have a YouTube channel, which I will be adding to soon.
Yay!
I'm getting
Hopefully
practice with Stacy.
Hopefully we're inspiring you.
Yes, for sure. Laura says, so happy to share today with y'all. Aw, and Kathy
Well, it was
says,
good to see you,
Kathy
Laura.
says, can't wait to try it. And thank you, ladies.
Yay.
You being here.
Yes, thank you all for coming. And I look forward sharing the Facebook group. Let us see what you make, or wherever we all are. Instagram, you can tag Estella and I on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
Where else? Or wherever else you are. I do
Mm-hmm.
have a Twitter page, but I am not on Twitter very much. I'm gonna have to look at that again, Estella.
Yeah, I recently had to make my Twitter private for a little while. I was having I was getting tagged randomly by strangers for crypto stuff. So I'm quiet for a minute, but I'll come back.
Okay, well, we'll find you.
Yes,
All right,
but
everybody.
for sure, Instagram.
Okay, yeah, that's a great place actually to tag us too.
Yeah.
So thank you all for coming and showing up, and I look forward to our next meeting. So 2 weeks from today, we'll do another. Is that where we're at,
2
Estella?
weeks from today. Yep, that'll be the 24th of April.
It's the week after Easter.
Yeah.
So we'll be on again. We'll have to come up with a really great project for next time. But I thought this was something fun to do today, and to talk about the release of emotions, work on those emotions.
Right.
So, all right, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Everybody
Yes.
take care.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.